So every time somebody tells you how to save money, most of these people will tell you that you should have a budget. And I disagree. I don't think it's necessary. Not to the point that you have to put everything that you're spending on in a Excel spreadsheet or on your phone taking notes, and that's just insane. I don't think it works. I just don't think it's sustainable. Now instead there is another way that I think it's much better, and this is the whole point of this video. So today I kind of wanted to give you guys 4 actionable steps that you can take to manage your money smartly and efficiently. So basically what we're going to be doing is build a very strong foundation for your financial house, right? For your personal finance. It's going to be a strong foundation where you basically take care of everything that has to do with money, right? The idea here is for you to build this foundation, right? And then also have that leftover money for you to be spending it guilt-free. Because there is nothing worse than, say you're going to a restaurant and you're eating this nice meal, but you have this voice in your head and you're just thinking, God, I can't enjoy it the way I should be enjoying it because I'm kind of feel guilty, right? I shouldn't be eating this because I should be spending this money in something else. I should be saving more money. So the whole point of this is to build that strong foundation and have this leftover money to spend it guilt-free, pretty much. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a list of your biggest expenses. That can be your rent, it can be your mortgage, it can be your insurance, your car payments, that sort of thing. These are mostly going to be fixed costs that you have to pay no matter what. They might fluctuate in price, here and there, but most of the times they're always going to be fairly consistent. Now, after paying most of your expenses, living expenses pretty much, you should ideally have 50% of your money. If you don't have that, don't panic. It's okay. I get it. It's not easy, like living costs are pretty expensive right now. And some of the jobs don't pay much. I get it. It's not easy. You might have a kid. You might have, it's fine. Don't panic, okay? This is ideal. So if you're not there, it's okay. But what I will do is try to figure out a way to cut down those costs or try to either get a side hustle, try to get a secondary job, anything that in a way makes a difference here. Now there are many ways to go on about it. The biggest expense is usually rent. So say you have a room that is empty, you can rent it out, you can have somebody else living with you. You can also use it as an Airbnb if you own the place. If you rent it out, you probably won't be able to do that. But you need to, in a way, figure out to bring somebody there. That way you're paying much less in rent or mortgage. And then also, all those living expenses like electricity, Wi-Fi, water, all those things are going to be reduced significantly. So just consider that. Now, if that's not one of the options, you can always go back to living with your parents. I mean, that's not bad. It's not failing, right? It's okay. Don't worry about that. And don't worry about what other people are going to say about this, right? You're trying to save money. You're trying to build this strong foundation. It might take you some time. Fine. You do that and then you're going to be much better off. Now, there are other things that you can do as well. Be very diligent about turning your lights off. I mean, seriously. I've seen people tell me, okay, Mark, I want to save money. I want to do this. I want to do that, which is fine. I get it. But then they leave their house for 5 hours. They come back and every single light in the house is on. And I'm like, dude, seriously. You have to take this thing seriously. You can't do that. You can't take a 30-minute shower if you're trying to save money for the water bill. Let's be honest here. Let's be realistic. You have to make an effort to do these things because electricity is pretty expensive. And water adds up as well. So, those things are important as well. Now, similarly, it's the same thing with eating out, right? Maybe you want to stay inside. Maybe you want to, get a bunch of food, a bunch of groceries, and then cook at home. Cook in bulk, That way you don't have to cook every single day. Cook in bulk, buy cheap stuff, cheap, healthy stuff, right? Because you're investing in your health, which is eventually going to also save you money in the long run, right? But not just because of money, because let me explain why health it's important, right? Both mental and physical health. But that's also going to save you a lot of money. If you're spending $20, $10, $20 every single day on food, maybe that's gonna be not the best financial solution, for now at least, okay? Maybe later on we'll consider that, but right now, maybe it's not the best solution. So that being said, there is so many things you can do right now to already put, yourself in a better situation. And I get it, it's not easy. I understand that it's not easy, saying no to your friends, right? They're going on a vacation, they're going out, they're gonna get drinks, whatever, and you have to say no. I get it, I mean, it's not easy. I've been there, right? Saying no to your friends when they're trying to do this, it's not easy, but you have to be able to say no. You have to be able to delay gratification, and you have to be able to suffer, right? You have to be able to suffer a little bit, at least a little bit. You have to make sacrifices at first, so that eventually you're gonna be living this, future for you and for your family, for your kids. You have to be able to, make this effort so you get to experience, a better life overall. Okay, so now we are on the second step. So basically what we're going to do here is we're gonna have money left over to invest and to also build an emergency fund. I will actually start with the emergency fund first, because say something happens to you, you lose your job. With the pandemic, obviously I should let me explain you why that's a good idea. But you should also be, saving money in case something happens to your car, something happens to your health, you get into an accident, you have unexpected bills, stuff like that. So you should at least be saving money up to, I guess, 6 months roughly of expenses. Now, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to have a high yield savings account. You can have this by looking it up on the internet, but basically these are banks that can yield up to 2.53% interest. At the time of this recording, it's not like that. The interest rates are fairly low because of the Federal Reserve, but that's another topic. But basically, what you do is you just put money in there and it sits there and it gives you some interest. It's not a place for you to invest money and wait and get rich. It's not. Even if it is 3%, right? Even if at the time of the recording, it's possibly below 1% at this point. But a year ago, it was about 2.25, I think, in my bank. I was using Ally Bank. But anyhow, you don't want to have this money anywhere else because you don't want to pay any penalties if you have to withdraw money very quickly. So I will do that. I will put it on a high yield interest account, even though the interest is not high at the moment. Okay, I get that. But even then, you still want to have it there. Make sure it's FDIC insured. This means that if something were to happen to the bank, you're protected, because the government pretty much backs it up. Now, after you have built your emergency fund, you're gonna want to start investing. You should be investing at least 10% of your total income. Now, it might not be possible at the time of, as of now, as of today, okay? But maybe after some time, your emergency fund is already built, your expenses are already lower, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna be gaining momentum and you're gonna be having more money to invest. So basically, in short terms, the more you invest, the better. It's as simple as that. Now, you might have goals to get this much money at the end of, this year, or you want to retire with this much money. So, that's going to depend on what your goals are. But basically, in simple terms, the sooner and the more you invest, the better. As easy as that. Now, you should have this money invested in stocks, bonds, real estate, the stock market overall. You should have money invested in either one or both of these platforms. The more you diversify is usually the better. You don't have to over diversify, okay? But basically what you want to do is you want to have a lot of eggs in the basket, because that kind of protects you from risk. Now, if you don't know much of what I'm talking about, the first thing I will do is invest in yourself. Seriously, get some books, go on YouTube, pretty much study. You have to do research. You have to know what you're doing. Don't just take my word for it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to understand how money works and that sort of thing. So you basically want to invest in yourself first. That's just gonna play a big part on your financial future, right? You want to invest in yourself and you want to get familiar with how all this works, right? And if that's something that you don't want to do, you should at least be getting advice from a financial advisor, or let them handle it, get a broker, something. But you don't want to just not invest. Not investing is a bigger risk than investing. And just really think about that you're just missing on a huge opportunity cost by not doing so. So if you don't want to do it yourself, get somebody to do for you, at least that, okay? But that being said, let's go to the next step. Now in this third step, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be saving money for, say, a down payment, a vehicle, a trip, Christmas presents, stuff like that. Things that are not always going to be there, but they are obviously fairly expensive. A down payment is not cheap. So you're basically going to be building, depending on what your future plans are, depending on what you're trying to get, you're going to be saving money for this. All right, so basically we're now on the fourth step, and this is where you basically just spend money, right? You're just build your foundation, your financial house is in order, your personal financing is fine, right? So you're basically just spend this money guilt-free because you earned it, right? And you know for sure that even if you end up spending all this money, you're gonna be well off. Now, you can actually take this money and invest it more if you want to have better results or faster results, but you don't need to. Everything is fine, so just enjoy, seriously. Now the question is, how do we go on about doing this, I guess, whole process efficiently? Because you don't want to get a paycheck every 2 weeks and do all of this manually. So what you want to do is, say you get a paycheck, okay, you get this paycheck, and you're basically creating automatic transfers to each of these accounts, right? One of them is going to your rent, one of them is going to your investment account. So you basically have to either, talk to your employer, talk to your bank, or even go into, the computer, going to their website, going to the settings, and just basically set up this automatic transfer. So you're basically having these little employees working for you, and over time, I guarantee you, this is exponentially going to grow dramatically. I mean, trust me. At first, you might not see a difference, but eventually you will. So basically, as of now, we have created a system that we know works. It takes the uncertainty out of the equation. It takes the confusion out of the equation. It takes the guilt-free spending out of the equation. It's literally perfect. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. I mean, well, say, you get a bunch of money out of the lottery and then voila, you're rich, right? But if you really want to build, be realistic about, your money, your financial, situation, you're gonna have to build this very slowly. You're gonna have to delay gratification. You're gonna have to make sacrifices and build this strong financial house. I just can't emphasize that enough. You have to have this foundation, and everything else that is left over, it's for you to spend it. Like, seriously. Forget about being guilty about getting, stupid things on Amazon. You can now spend it in whatever you want. That's the good thing here. So yeah, basically that's it. I mean, I didn't want to go too specific into this, but if you do have more specific questions, please ask me, down in the comments below, and I'm gonna reply to everyone. So yeah, I mean, really that's it. I mean, I'm sorry I talk a lot, but that's all. If you find value in this video, make sure you subscribe. That definitely helps me and the channel a lot. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.